Hey guys, Plated here again, and today I've got a video for you on the lore of the Elder Dragons, what they do in Interior, when the last time they awoke was, what kind of things they're doing interior, whereabouts they are, their names, and what they represent. I'd also like you guys to leave a comment below, letting me know how often you want to see these lore videos, because I don't want to flood your inboxes daily, but then I don't want to put too much time between each video, making you uninterested in my content. So let me know below how regular you want to see these lore videos coming up. Thanks, and enjoy the video. So we know the Elder Dragons are extremely ancient and powerful creatures. We've fought Zhaitan so far and killed him, and getting to that point was a real struggle. We had to do a lot of stuff. But what about the other Elder Dragons and what are their history? Well, as far as we know, the Dragons are one of the oldest races in Tyria, alongside the Jotun, the Dwarves, the Forgotten, the Masat, and the Seers. Now, the oldest recorded history we have of the Elder Dragons is from the Jotun Stele and the Dwarven legends. According to the Jotuns, the last time the Elder Dragons awakened, 11,000 years ago, they set about destroying the entire planet, basically, and they wiped out most of Tyrian life. Only 5 sentient races were left behind, as said before. Now, since they've awakened recently in the last 200 years, a few things have happened that we haven't been around to see, such as Glint, who was the lieutenant to Kralkatorrik the Crystal Dragon, betrayed her master due to the Forgotten, who found a way to unleash her from Kralkatorrik's power. Well, she indeed fought against Kralkatorrik, but unfortunately she was killed alongside one of the members of Destiny's Edge. So in 1078 AE, the first Elder Dragon awoke. This was Primordius, which we saw in Guild Wars 1 at the end of completing the North. This was after you beat the Great Destroyer in the Dwarven Mines. The last cutscene is of this larger dragon awakening, and that's the end of the game. So we had a small teaser towards what was coming from Guild Wars 2, but we didn't actually know for sure. So this was the first dragon to awake, Primordius, who is the leader of all the destroyers. And he is also the main reason for the Asura now living above ground, alongside the extinction of the Dwarven race, as they had to invoke the right of the Great Dwarf. They all became stone, and now they are all underground fighting the destroyers. After the awakening of Primordius, next awoke Jormag, and he awoke in 1165 AE. He awoke in the far northern Shiver Peaks and destroyed a lot of the Kodan sanctuaries and also shattered the mountains completely, creating island seas in the middle of the far Shiver Peaks, which the Kodan and the Quaggan took for refuge. You can actually see this on the map if you compare it from a Guild Wars 1 map to Guild Wars 2 map. In the far Shiver Peaks, there's now these lake islands in the middle of these mountains, and that is where Jormag arose from. The Norn, however, wanted to fight Jormag, and so they took a stand against Jormag in the far Shiver Peaks and took on the Ice Dragon and his Ice Brood, but unfortunately the dragon was too strong and they were forced south and they were guided by the spirits of the wild. And indeed some of the Norn even took to worshipping Jormag, and that's why you now have Svanir, and in the end the Svanir become Ice Brood. So after this awoke Zhaitan, and he awoke in 1219 AE, and after awakening he rose ore from the bottom of the ocean, and this is how ore came out of the sea. Most people know this. What you might not know is that because of this, a massive tidal wave was created and it flooded the coastlines of Tyria. Thousands of people died during this time, and you can do this again, compare Guild Wars 1 map to Guild Wars 2 map. You see the coastline is completely changed, it's been completely devastated, and this happened from a massive tidal wave hitting the coast, which was created from ore being risen. After this, Zhaitan took control of all those killed and now has his risen army, and he also created an undead fleet which spans the Strait of Malkor and now has blocked access to Cantha, and that's why we haven't got much information from Cantha recently. And also now he's in Kryta attacking the Krytans and the Elonians. After this, the deep sea dragon awoke. We're not sure of his name yet, but it's possible that its name is Modramoth. All we know is that he's somewhere in the deeps of the ocean. When he awoke, he created tentacle horrors in his surroundings, and all the Krayt, Quaggan and Lagos living in the unending ocean were forced to flee, and most of them came to Tyria, but this obviously caused them to run into the undead risen armies, and a lot of them were killed and became new risen for Zhaitan's undead army. After this awoke Kralkatorrik, and he awoke in 1320 AE. He had been sleeping in the Blood Legion homelands, and he flew south over Ascalon down into the Crystal Desert. And this is where you see a massive purple crystal scar going all the way from the Char homelands down into the Crystal Desert with a big explosion impact mark at the end. And this is how the branded were formed, from Kralkatorrik flying over the area, crystallizing everything below it. Anything that was caught underneath became branded. Some people may ask why Kralkatorrik flew down to the Crystal Desert. Well, it was at this time Glint, the Crystal Dragon's lieutenant, had been freed from his control, and so he travelled down into the Crystal Desert to kill her. And this is where the battle between Kralkatorrik and Glint happened, and also he battled with Destiny's Edge. Even though he was injured, he managed to kill Glint and a member of Destiny's Edge, and in the end won that day. Now the sixth dragon mentioned in Jotun Stale has either not awoken yet, or is in some part of the Tyrian world that we do not know about, so there's little to no information about this dragon as of current. We do believe, however, that it is the dragon of nature, and that it's currently residing inside the Maguma jungle. So at the moment we have Primordius, Jormag, Zhaitan, the Deep Sea Dragon, and Kralkatorrik, with also one dragon remaining that we have no information about at the moment. And each of these dragons seem to represent one of the 6 human gods. Now this may be a coincidence, but they do align quite nicely to each of the gods. So at the moment, it's theorized that Zhaitan represents Grenth, Jormag represents Dwayna, Kralkatorrik represents Elisa, Primordius represents Balthazar, the Deep Sea Dragon could represent Cormyr or Abaddon, the previous god before Cormyr, and the 6th Nature Dragon is Melandru, the goddess of nature. Now each of these dragons have similarities to their opposing god, Zhaitan the dragon of undeath, Grenth the god of death, and so on and so forth. But at the moment this isn't anywhere in Guild Wars lore, this is just theory crafting from Guild Wars lore enthusiasts. Some other information you might be interested about knowing is at the moment each dragon has its minions, and we can quite clearly distinguish which minions belong to which dragon. Kralkatorrik, the crystal dragon, has his branded minions, Zhaitan has his undead followers, Jormag has the Ice Brood, and as of yet the others are unknown, but we can hypothesize a little onto which minions belong to which dragon. When thinking of a nature dragon, you would expect its minions to come from nature somehow, and if we look at the Sylvari, they are the personification of intelligent nature. Now when looking into the lore of Sylvari, not much known about them, just that they grew from a pale tree and that they follow Ventari's teaching. But also we have the Nightmare Court who believe that the Sylvari have been corrupted by Ventari's teachings from their true original purpose, and these Sylvari seem to be intent on evil and destruction, which seems to be what the dragons are all about. We also know that the Forgotten found some way of unchaining minions of their master dragons from them, so it is possible to hypothesize that the raising of the Pale Tree under the influence of Ventari has produced good Sylvari when in fact they were intended to be minions of the dragon. We also know that there are more Sylvari and more Pale Trees, possibly maybe even more than 2, but as of yet this is unknown. So it's quite possible that the Sylvari are indeed the minions of this nature dragon, and I'm looking forward to the expansion of Guild Wars to see if this is indeed true or not. So I'm looking forward to the other dragons being released and seeing what they're going to be like. And if you have more information on the dragons, just put it in comments below. It'd be cool to read about them more. Maybe there's some stuff that I don't know about them. But I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. And you can expect more videos from me in the very near future. So if you're not subscribed, just subscribe here for more videos on Guild Wars 2 lore. Thanks for watching and good luck learning that lore.